Hey guys, it's Miss Sam, and we are going to start one of our lessons today, and it is going to be about story elements. Story elements are the pieces that we put together to make a story great. The first story element that we are going to talk about are characters. Characters are the who of the story. So it could be like people, or it could be animals, or it could even be things sometimes. So writers use characters to perform the actions and speak the dialogue of a story. Now, dialogue, it just means the talking or the speaking. They move a story's plot forward. So without characters, the story wouldn't be happening. There wouldn't be anything going on. They are the who of the story. So if you look, we have some different characters here. Think about your favorite book. Who is your book about? Or what is your book about? Think about Dogman. Think about The I Survived. Who are those characters? Okay. The next story element that we are going to talk about is setting. A story's setting refers not only to the physical location, but also the time that the story takes place. It is where and when of the story. Okay. So, time of day, time of year, time in history, the scenery, the weather, the location. All of those things have to do with the scenery. So I always like to think about the five senses when I'm thinking about the setting. Okay. So when you look around, what do you see? Is it rainy? Is it sunny? Um, what do you smell? What do you taste? Do you taste ocean water like Miss Shelby on the beach? Um, what do you hear? Do you hear raindrops? Okay. What do you touch? What do you feel? Do you feel an astronaut suit on you? So if you're wearing something like that, and you're probably, in outer space. So think about your setting. Your setting is where and when the story takes place. So not all stories take place in current day. Sometimes stories take place in the past or even in the future. Okay. The next story element that we're going to talk about is plot. The plot are the events that happen in the story. Plot can be divided into different parts also. So when you're younger, plot is just basically the beginning, the middle, and the end. But as we get older, we break it down a little bit more. We break it down into the introduction, which is like the beginning or the exposition, and then the rising action where things start happening, and then the climax, and then falling action, and then the resolution. Okay. So think about the introduction, the beginning of the story. Characters are introduced, the setting is introduced, you learn about your characters, some of the things that are going on. So then we have our rising action, where the main character faces a series of conflicts or things that are happening. Okay. And then we have our climax, the most exciting part of the story, where we learn the outcome, what is going to happen to our main character. Then we have our falling action, where it's leading to the resolution. So the events are leading to the end of the story, and then our resolution is the end of the story, and that's what the plot is. Next, we have conflict. So the conflict can be thought of as a challenge or a problem. It's what drives the action of the story. If there's not a conflict, there's not going to be a story. If you think to every movie or every book that you've ever watched, there's going to be a conflict and there's going to be a challenge or a problem in order for it to be good and interesting for you to watch. So look at our Bitmojis that we have. What are some of the problems? What can you imagine? Think about some of the books that you guys read or the TV shows that you watch on Netflix? What are some of the problems? All right, and our last story element that we're going to talk about today is the theme. Theme is the moral or the idea that the writer is expressing through the story. It is often thought of as like the message. It's what the author is trying to get you to think of. Okay, so it's the message or the lesson that the author wants you to learn. Maybe he wants you to learn about courage or loyalty or love or friendship or forgiveness, hope, hard work. How did the author want you to grow? How did they want you to learn? What did they want the characters to learn? So, those are our story elements, and we are going to be reading different stories this week, and we are going to be talking about the different story elements of those stories. So, I can't wait to get started with you guys. It's going to be a great week. If you have any questions, just let Miss Shelby or I know. Thanks, guys.